I was 9, I was in therapy. I got diagnosed with anxiety and OCD. I don't want to breathe. I want God to take away my breath, but my family means too much for me to take my own life. And I almost prayed in fear. I turned to God in this time, but it was in fear because I felt like if I didn't pray or if I didn't turn to God, something bad would happen.
You were literally fearless on stage. No one sensed fear of any kind. Here you are sitting at this table. I don't sense any fear of any kind.
People that bullied me in school or people that weren't necessarily nice to me would call me up and be like, hey, I'm really struggling. I need your help. I'm 20 now. I've had it for 11 years, but now it's the thoughts consuming me and the enemy really trying to knock me down. It's but look at what God's doing right now. God doesn't want us to have these crosses, but it's the consequence of the broken world we live in.
The cost of the calling itself, historically, is the journey from darkness to light. Hey guys, welcome back. Look, I'm super excited. I travel a lot, I speak a lot. I try to do my best to make a difference everywhere I go. And then occasionally you just get very fortunate. I'm very fortunate to sit at a table with somebody that you think the world needs to know about. Somebody who's doing amazing things. Someone who honestly is creating something from scratch. And today is one of those special days. I'm going to introduce you to our next guest in just a second. But here's what you need to know about her. She's 20 years old, just coming out with her first book. And more importantly, has a heart of gold. I watched her speak briefly at one of the last events I was at, and she has the poise of a 30-year-old speaker who has been doing this for a long, long time. She has a countenance and a radiance that I can't explain, which is one of the reasons I was literally sitting at the table. I was like, guys, I don't know why. I know the book thing, that's cool. And you run across a lot of people that are doing books, right? So I'm like, I'm telling you, I see this aura around you, you've been highlighted, right? Kind of thing. So for that, I want to introduce you to Andelina Storm Grassi. Andelina, how are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. I feel so blessed to be here.
Well, you are the blessing. I had a chance to catch up with you and your dad at GSD, ironically, for our mutual friend Ken Joslin, who invited you to be part of his event. So not only have you had your first speaking event in the last few months, now you've had your first podcast as of today, right?
Yes.
So how are you feeling?
I feel great. I feel so excited. I feel all bubbly. I don't know how to explain it. I just feel insanely blessed. God is so good. He's so kind. I can't believe that at 20, I've been given so many wonderful opportunities.
You know, what's really crazy is, when you're looking at a lot of the opportunities you say, a lot of the journey that you're now stepping into was created, ironically, by a lot of adversity. Mm-hmm. And so I want to maybe, if it's okay with you, I want to start with a little bit about Andelina, because obviously this is your first podcast. The world hasn't necessarily know who you are just yet, but it will after the show.
Right.
But at the same time, tell us a little bit about you. We'll get into the book and stuff like that, which is super important. But more importantly, what about you is now leading you on this journey? Give us a little rundown.
Right. So when I was 9, I'm really close to my mom's side of the family. We grew up with the cousins more as siblings and the grandparents more as second parents. And I watched my grandpa die in hospice. He had a few different cancers, beat them, and he ended up with an unknown skin disease. And something about being 9 and kind of watching the light fade from someone's eyes, it messed me up a little bit in a way. And I honestly think of it as a blessing now. But at the time, I was 9, I was in therapy. I got diagnosed with anxiety and OCD. I would walk up and down the stairs 9 times, have to tell everyone I loved them, would have to pray. And I almost prayed in fear. I turned to God in this time, but it was in fear because I felt like if I didn't pray or if I didn't turn to God, something bad would happen. I had these obsessions and compulsions, and my anxiety, I wore it like a weighted vest. I feel in the morning I get dressed and ready for the day, and then I had to put on that weighted vest and just carry it with me. My shoulders were just always heavy with everything going on and stuff. And
what's really interesting? I've never heard somebody ever articulate that I think I was actually praying in fear.
Yeah.
I actually think that's really profound. Because I'm me, so I go down rabbit holes while I'm doing other things. And I wonder how many of us actually do that. Because a lot of times when we're praying for things, we're praying to God and we're asking Him for different things. I wonder if some of the reason why He's maybe withholding a yes, no, or maybe or wait is simply because he's waiting for the question to shift, or the heart position to shift.
Right. And 100%, that's definitely something I had to figure out like later in life. Like I would pray every night before bed, and it was like, God, please don't let anyone die while I'm sleeping. Like, God, please don't do this. Please don't do that. And then when I got older and I started understanding God and my faith better, and understanding that he loves me and he doesn't want bad things to happen,
No,
and
he
he's
doesn't.
not trying to make me sad. Like I don't have to like pray to him to receive good things. Like, but coming to him in gratitude for things he hadn't even given me yet. Like coming to him and just being like, thank you for making this better one day. Like maybe it's not right now, but one day I will be able to manage this, and thank you for that. Instead of being like, please take this away. Like, please don't do this. Like gratitude, you really don't have room for anxiety in your heart as much when you are grateful, because it's harder to go through all these seasons and be like, oh my gosh, but there's so many bad things happening. And it's like, how many good things are happening as well?
Yeah.
And that's definitely something like right now, like I still get like, feel like I get hit from every angle. I put that weighted vest on every day, and it's like, I'm 20 now. Like I've had it for 11 years, but now it's like when I feel like the thoughts consuming me and the enemy like really trying to knock me down, it's like, but look at what God's doing right now. Like, well, look what God's doing.
Think about it. You were just on a stage not even a month ago. For
Right.
the first time ever.
First time ever.
In front of an audience of a few hundred people, give or take.
Right.
Sharing without fear. You were literally fearless on stage. No one sensed fear of any kind. Here you are sitting at this table. I don't sense any fear of any kind. You know, and when I say that, I feel like what you're doing is you're actually stepping into your calling, right? But as a good friend of mine told me a long time, her name was Dee. She's just a special woman in my life. She was like a mentor, coach, mother figure kind of thing, right? She told me one time, something that I thought was really profound. She says, "There's a cost to every calling." Now, she was aiming it directly at me because I was walking through something very difficult at the time. And it got me thinking, it's like the cost of the calling itself historically is the journey from darkness to light.
That's good.
Now, as you've been someone who's obviously been strong in your faith, but still gone through elements of walking in what some would call darkness, right? I would call it darkness. When you shared a lot of your story with me, we were at that mastermind. I was like, I get it. I've been there, right? Talk to me a little about how that process has, what you've learned from that process thus far. Because I know that obviously will lead into the story of why you decided to write this book, why the time is now, and just a lot of really cool things happening. Even in the environment here in the studio today, you're seeing a lot of amazing people and getting to socialize and getting to know people. So like, give me a little backstory as far as like how the kind of younger version of you is gone from more fear to more faith and kind of the transition.
Right. So actually, funny thing, as much as fear was controlling my life, I always felt like everyone has a cross they have to carry. So there's something in your life, like God's not intending to take it away. Like in 2 Corinthians, we hear about how Paul has like the thorn in his side, and he's like, God, take this away. And God's like, no, it keeps you humble. Like it keeps you humble. Like, no, it keeps you humble. And like, obviously God doesn't want us to have these crosses, but it's the consequence of the broken world we live in. So I've always known my anxiety wasn't something God intended to take away. And as I grew up, I saw so much fruit from it. Like so many people, because I've always been pretty vulnerable with it. Like it's not something I could really hide. Like I was having panic attacks in the school hallway, like everyone knew. But everyone started coming to me, like people that like bullied me in school or people that like weren't necessarily nice to me would call me up or turn to me and text me and be like, hey, I'm really struggling. Like I need your help. Like, can you give me some like words of wisdom, some advice? And I get to like share some verses with them, tell them to like rely on God. So I knew from pretty young age that I really was called to help people with mental health. Like mental health has like always fascinated me. And I've known that God gave me mental health for a reason, because God gives us suffering for a reason. God gave Jesus suffering for a reason. And if God's going to let his only son come down here and suffer and die for us and have all this pain inflicted on him that he doesn't deserve at all, like he didn't need to do, like he's perfect, then why isn't he going to do something good with the pain he's causing me? Like why is, or like he's not causing me, but like the consequences of the broken world caused me. So like why wouldn't he do something good with my pain if he's going to do something good with Jesus' pain? Kind of thing.
I keep trying to tell people you're one of a kind, young lady. Super excited for you. I know one of the things that we talked about, we were at the mastermind sitting across from each other, which I think was a precursor to you actually writing your first book, which still You're a published author and you're 20 years old.
Yeah,
let that sink in. And I'm not talking about the book's like this thin, like it's a book, right? And it was really cool to watch so many people actually like get their own copies while we're at the mastermind. And I do encourage everybody to grab a copy for sure, especially for someone who maybe that you love, who might be struggling with mental health and things of that nature. But we talked about a very difficult part of that process, which was losing a friend.
Right.
So let's talk about maybe the beginnings of kind of where the genesis of the book came from and things of that nature.
Okay. So again, always knew that God wanted me to do something with my mental health, but man, was I humbled when I got to college. I was a big homebody, never spent the night anywhere because my grandpa died when I was at a sleepover. So I was always home with my parents, chickened out of going out of state for college, stayed home, went to MSU, and I got hit with depression for the first time in my entire life. Like, I knew how to deal with anxiety. Like, I knew I was going to be anxious all the time, but I knew how to live with it. Depression was something else. It was knocking me down like hard my freshman and sophomore year of college. And fall of my sophomore year of college, I would just lay on the floor and feel like I was like drowning. Like I was treading water and my muscles were tired and my mind was foggy and I was going to drown. And I would tell my roommate and be like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I don't want to breathe. I like want God to take away my breath. Like, I want to just be in heaven with him. Like, I don't want to do this, but my family means too much for me to take my own life. Like, I can't do it. I'm scared of who I would hurt if I did, but I can't be here. I don't want to be here. Like, everything just felt intolerable. I love going on walks and like hanging out with people, and I hated being alone, and I couldn't escape my own room. Like, I couldn't do anything. I feel like it completely just engulfed me. And I was supposed to take a job at this coffee shop. And my parents were like, no, I need you to focus on your mental health. I need you to just not take the job. So I was like, okay, cool. I called that morning and I was like, hey, like, I can't take the job. I have to put myself first. Like, I'm really struggling mentally. I went home that day because I was going to go to a Tigers game with my family. And I got a phone call from my friend, and she's like, Vincent committed suicide last night. And man, like, the shock of that, like, it didn't hit me at first. Like, I went to high school with him. He was one of our really good friends. He was still really close to my best friend, who's my roommate. We were supposed to see him in a week, like hang out at that Michigan State game because he went to Michigan. And I remember just like the shock. And it's like, he was voted most likely to succeed in high school. He was the type of guy that he was either picking on you so someone else would laugh, or you were the one laughing. Like, he was the funniest kid I had ever met. And I knew in that moment, it's like, oh my gosh, like, if God is giving me the idea in my head that I can't take my own life, and there's people out here that are, it is my job to make sure no one else does. It is my job to be someone that at least tries to make someone else know that God's not done with them, that we don't need to put a period where God's putting a comma. Like, there's more. Like, there's so much more than the darkness and everything that's just like drowning us and suffocating us. And I knew that sitting down and writing a book, like, writing was something that like always came easy to me. I was like one of those weird kids that had a diary growing up that was like Dear Diary. And then as I got older, it turned into Dear God, which was really cool. So I always wrote, and I was really into like kind of poetry, like just like spilling my like scary emotions onto a page. Like, I was very good at being vulnerable with my writing. So I was like, you know what? Like, I need to do something. My dad actually was the one that inspired me.
It's a rock star, by the way.
He's the best ever. I don't know what I'd do without him. But he actually like called me not even that long after my friend Vincent passed and was like, you need to write the book now. Because it was always an idea. He's like, you need to write it now. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is kind of fresh. Like, this is a fresh wound. And he's like, no, Lena, I'm telling you, sit down and do it. And I was like, I was just in such a dark place. I didn't at like right away because he died in October. So it's almost like 1 year now. And I actually heard of a bunch of my friends' friends that were committing suicide. And somehow word always got back to me. It's like people I'd never met. Like, I hadn't even met their siblings, let alone their friends. And they're coming to me and they're like, yeah, like so-and-so just like also took their life, just lost their battle. And I was like, fine, God, like whatever you say. And it was February, and I had a chemistry exam the next day, and I just sat in my bed, and instead of studying, I was like, all right, God, do it. Like, whatever you want, let your words be my words and your thoughts be my thoughts, and just tell me what to write. and I put on the song Call Your Mom by Noah Khan, which is about like one of his friends that was going to commit suicide. And he's like, I'll call your mom to make sure you're okay. And it was on repeat in my AirPods. And I just sat down and I just started writing.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. I'm going to ask a little bit of a vulnerable question. So
Perfect.
if it, and my heart is that it's not triggering at all, but it's more of a respect, more out of respect. So first of all, I want to give time and space for Vincent. Mm-hmm. Okay, so just letting his name ring out there. He existed. He still exists in a different plane, but he still exists, right? Want to recognize what he walked through and even the choices he made. I think my question kind of spins off from there because I just feel like, again, I'm big into presence, like, you know, and I think that I would like to understand what you think he probably would have loved to have heard or done that may have shifted the gear at his moment of the greatest need.
Yeah. So we all like obviously got together for his memorial, like U of M, like had like a little vigil for him outside. And I remember just looking around and everyone being like, did you guys know? Like, did you whatever? And everyone was still in contact with him that was there. Like everyone still talked to him every day. But like, when was the last time anyone there had like really checked in on him? Mm-hmm. And I think, especially with our funny friends, we kind of forget to check up on them and ask them how they're doing. Yeah. Like, there was like a thing going around like a while ago, and it's like, check on your funny friends, because it was a lot of people that would like mask what they were going through by making other people laugh.
In many respects, I think it's been, they don't know for sure now, but because of some autopsy stuff, but one of the funniest people on the planet. Mm-hmm. And struggle with mental health routinely.
Yeah, that's a big thing is, I think, honestly, if someone just looked at him and told him, like, I'm proud of you and I see you, because he was grinder in high school. He was in every club. Like, we didn't have valedictorian at my school because it was too small, but he would have been he like got to speak at one of our senior things. He went to U of M, so he was he was a genius. He was so smart. And he was just so caring and kind. And he just always looked like he had it together. And I think if one person would have looked at him and been like, I'm proud of you, or, oh, I see you, like, oh, you're probably dealing with a lot right now. Like, or just like, how are you? I think that would have made the difference. And I don't want to like, I don't know, like say like that would have made like all the difference. But I think just checking in on people makes way more of a difference than we think. Yeah. Because I was living in a house with 5 other girls, and only one of those girls realized I was struggling, and it was because she was my best friend. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you could be living with someone right now. Like, it could be your parents, it could be your best friends, and you just really don't know what anyone is going through.
Yeah. Like, you know what's really crazy is it would be really cool, and I'm actually considering doing this as I'm sitting here, like it's like coming now, is putting a notification on my phone once a day to just reach out to someone
that's good,
that I know, love, and trust, and just actually do an authentic check-in. Yeah. An authentic check-in, because, you know, you'll find this as you continue up this this journey of putting yourself out there and trying to, you know, speaking and leading and writing, and, you know, you'll find yourself creating content, and just the way it goes. You will create effective content because you're so sincere, which I'm excited about, because I feel like a lot of folks who enter this profession really struggle to find their voice because of, you know, maybe they're emulating people they know, like, and trust themselves. But I guess what's interesting about that is it seems to me that we almost just need to slow things down, right? When we got into the internet age, which I know is a little bit before your time, you know, things rapidly sped up. That's when I think the human disconnection really started to really take root. You know, and things like the internet and things and technology are both propelling us forward and also like creating new problems that we never thought we'd have to solve, right? There was a study done not long ago and actually Facebook actually got into a little bit of trouble at the time. I think it's all been reconciled now, but about the content that young women your age were actually seeing consistently. Right. And it lowered the perception of value, self-value, on a consistent basis. And I would tell you, as a man who had a suicide attempt, I did. Fortunately, didn't work out for me.
God bless.
Yeah, thank you. I found, I was really excited to connect you with Brandy of Promise to Live. She has an amazing event coming up this year. I hope to see you and your dad out there for sure.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that that's not a relationship that I wouldn't see you guys working together sometime in the future for sure. But one of the reasons I did that is because she actually did that when she came here. She gave us all pocket hugs, right? And it's another form of check-in. And I think the check-in process is really good because I've always said that people want really four things. They needs, really. They're not even wants, they're more needs. Seen, valued, heard, appreciated. And so few of us, I was telling a good friend of mine last night, kind of like after hours, like we were talking, we had this mutual friend, Randy, and I think a lot of us actually, you guys haven't met Randy, but I'm sure you guys will. It's funny how Randy's name keeps popping up everywhere. Honestly, he's an amazing human. But I remember, I was telling my friend last night, I was like, the one thing that I remember Randy doing is he literally saw me. Like he saw me. And whether it was God telling him like how to see me or whatever, maybe it was the way in which he was listening. Maybe it was the eye contact that he was giving. But I remember him saying this one case that he goes, dude, you've paid your dues. I want to help you. Right. And that was related to professional career stuff and stuff like that. But I mean, if I go back in my history, and I'm 49 years old, I've been alive a little while. Hopefully we'll be alive a lot longer. I can probably count on a hand how many times I think somebody actually saw me. Not saw the mask, not saw the facade, not saw achievements, not saw success, not saw failure, like legitimately saw me. Right. So I guess I want to, on that same concept, I'd like to kind of get your opinion on, especially as someone who has been very open with your own, mental health and how you're navigating that journey and how it's, now you're stepping into a whole new career and all kinds of exciting stuff as a result of walking through that journey. What are ways that people check in on you that have been effective that maybe we can model and begin to use to check in on other people?
Ooh, that's good. I think there are, again, I could probably count on one hand too, how many people are like actually good at checking in on me and like seeing me. I think we're in a very lonely time. I think right now everyone's very individual, very independent.
How's that possible? Everyone's connected on social media.
Oh, right. That's the problem. But that's the thing is everyone will see your social media and be like, oh, she's doing great. I don't need to check in on her, whatever. Or everyone is very, I don't want to say selfish. I'll say self-centered. Like everyone's main priority right now just is themselves. So it is really hard to get checked in on, I think. And I think part of the reason that makes my testimony so powerful is the fact that I wasn't really checked in on that much because it really was just like me and God a lot. But my family is great. And my best friend, Sydney, she is probably like the closest thing to heaven I'll get on earth. She's great. And they all know because I am vulnerable with them how to check in on me. And it definitely is just kind of like, all right, like, how are you? Like, what are you doing? And then when I try to blow them off, it's like, no, seriously, like, how are you? Or just validating that they know what I'm going through. Like, they'll be like, okay, like, I know you're carrying this well, but like, I see that you've been very anxious lately. And if you don't want to talk about it, that's fine. But just know that I know. Yeah,
we would call that holding space. What's really interesting is I was just thinking this. So, because one of the things that I try to do in historical, the way my brain works is my brain will take common denominators of different circumstances, situations, and then rearrange them in theory in a way in which you go from like force to flow or go from like disconnection to connection and like connect the dots, right? Because it's no different. You can have an extension cord that's however long, but if it's not plugged into the wall, there's no current flowing through it, right? And based on what you just said, I'm curious just your opinion on how much of getting checked in on in a meaningful way is also letting your guard down with people in a meaningful way.
100%. The only people that can check in with me thoroughly are the people that know me thoroughly. And that is kind of, the ball's kind of in my court to kind of make that a thing. Thankfully, I am like pretty good at being vulnerable, which I think I used to look at as kind of like a weakness, but Jesus wept, so why can't I kind of thing. Like, I'll be a crybaby. It's fine.
I cry too. I know.
I'll be a crybaby. But
if I feel it, I'm going to feel all the feels.
if I'm going to start crying, I'm going to start crying. Like, no holding back. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. Everyone knows exactly what I'm thinking when I'm thinking it. But that's been helpful because now, like, some of the great friends I have in my family can look at me and be like, ooh, like, you good? Like, do you need to talk about something? But then my friends that do put up more of a front, like Vincent, it's way harder for us to even realize they're going through something because if you were so like masked up, which society tells us to be, especially boys. Oh my goodness. Like, you're not allowed to have emotions if you are a boy.
We got to slay dragons and never cry.
Right. Yeah. And 80% of all suicides are men. And I think that does come with the fact that men feel like they have to carry themselves more strong and masculine, which
we're definitely more isolated.
Right.
Men historically, until they're taught better, do better. Right. So a huge chunk of my life, I didn't tell other men what I was going through until I learned it was okay to do so, which took 25 years, I think, for me to understand that. And then I think this is I'll say this to tie it back to a fear, right?
Okay.
Because I feel like one of the things I'm hoping to do with this specific show is I'm hoping to break down the barrier to open up the door for high quality communication with people you can trust, right? When I was going through all of my seasons, I was very isolated, didn't want to tell anybody much of anything. It wasn't until I reached out that divine intervention happened. The woman that her name was Mama Wama, aka Susan Batts. She talked me off a literal bridge after failing to join the military when I'd spent months training to try to be a SEAL. And it's funny, I remember her yelling at me. Not yelling at me at first, but she was like convinced me, trying to tell her where I was, and I wouldn't tell her where I was. And she made me promise that I would call her at 9 a.m. the next morning. She was one of two people on the planet that I would actually keep a promise to. What I thought was interesting is when I called in theory to say goodbye, which was my intent of the call, it was the last phone call I'd planned to make. The other 5 phone calls were busy signals and disconnections and all this kind of stuff. Her old cigarette raspy voice answered, and she instinctively knew that something was going on. And it was instinctual, right? However, I wouldn't have told my father. I wouldn't have told my mother. I mean, both of them in my life were a little more disconnected in general. I wouldn't have told my best friend. I wouldn't have told my best friend. Right? But for some reason, I had the nudge to call Susan, aka Mama Wama. Right? So I'm sitting here trying to digest myself. What made me not want to tell one person that I did know, like, and trust, and also end up talking to someone I know, liked, and trust, right? So how do I break the barrier, male or female, from your opinion, on opening that door? Because I think there seems to be a stigma or a fear of judgment.
Right.
If I let somebody know that I'm going through something hard, I'm somehow less than, right? So I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that.
That is definitely a lie. I think I tell myself a lot, and it's definitely a lie that a lot of people know. And the devil is very good at, in your lowest moments, telling you that, like, oh no, like, you can't let anyone know. It's like weaker, because the devil knows that, like, God says, like, 2 are better than 1. Like, we thrive together in pairs. And the devil knows that. Then he knows that we need, like, accountability. We need each other. So that's definitely a very common lie. And I have to tell myself, like, all the time that God would want me to tell someone else. And it's more selfish for me to hide my feelings than to turn to someone I'm trusting, because I'm going to hurt them so much more if they get to look back and be like, I didn't even know anything was wrong with her. Like, I didn't even know she was struggling. And people close to you will feel awful when they find that out. Like, I know, like, a lot of people I haven't turned to that I'm close with about my book, they're going to read some of the things in that book and be like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. And it's going to be like, yeah, because at the time I didn't want you to. Like, I didn't want you to know. So I think, honestly, just one of the things I write about is going through your top 5 lies you tell yourself and finding a Bible verse that contradicts them. So I mean, for me, I'm like a younger girl. Like, obviously, I care a little bit about how I look. And one of them was like, when the devil.
Let's just keep it real.
Like, I care about how I
Dan.
look. But if I'm like, oh my gosh, like I look so ugly, like I'm gonna go to Song of Psalms and be like, you are altogether beautiful, my darling, because the inside matters. My outside really doesn't. Like, I'm gonna perish here, but I need to go there. So that's like what matters. And another thing is that like oh, like I'm better alone. Like no one's here with me, whatever. And at the end of the day, if you only have God, you have all you need. And Isaiah, he's like, when you walk through rough waters, like I'll be with you. So I really think that the Bible as a whole, like he would send the disciples out like 2 by 2, 3 by 3. Like he would send them out together. Like God's telling you, like rely on the people there and find good people and like good community so that you can have that. But I'd go through and have everyone just like give their top 5 lies they tell themselves and find a Bible verse that like contradicts it, because whatever worry or fear or thing weighing you down that you're telling yourself is a lie directly from the enemy. And there's a verse that contradicts it, and that's what he doesn't want you to know.
Yeah. You know, I heard an interesting truth just before we had a chance to pop on. Obviously, as I mentioned before, you got to meet Brandy today from Promise to Live. Super excited about that. And she was sharing, I'm going to have her on the show ASAP too as well. She was sharing that over 700,000 people took their life last year. And I want to say, and I'll have her clarify the stat when she's on, but that of those 700,000 people, over 100 are affected by that one choice. So it's 100x return on one choice, in many cases a harmful way.
Right. Yeah.
About that.
I think that is something that is just like so like nauseating to think about, because I know I can tell you over 100 people that were affected by Vincent. Like I can tell you people that were way closer to him than I was that are very deeply affected by this. And I can tell you people that knew him less than I did that are like, whoa, like why did he do that? And I can tell you my friend group's statistics of mental health increased crazy after he did that. Because now they're thinking, is that a choice I should make? Is it not going to get better? And that was something that was really scary for like me to look around, because then I felt like I was constantly like running around and being like, no, don't. Like God has a plan for you. God has a plan for you. Like everyone fell into super deep depression after that. Like my roommate, like Sydney, like I've mentioned her, like we were across the hall from each other and we were both just like laying in bed at night, like couldn't even talk to each other. Like it's lonely. Like going through something like that, no one prepares you for that. Like I've experienced a lot of death, unfortunately. Most of it's been like cancer. So I've watched a lot of people die. I've been to a lot of funerals. And something about suicide just, like, it doesn't sit right, because I would lay in bed at night and be like, God, why? Like, why did this happen? Like, this isn't something you would have wanted, or it's not you bringing him home sooner because this was a free will decision. Like, why would this happen? Like, why would this be a thing? Like, there's no comfort in someone dying from suicide. There's not, because it was a free will choice that they made. You can't be like, oh, well, God wanted them to come home sooner. Or, like, maybe God knew something we didn't. Like, and obviously God has a plan for that. Like, everything's predestined. So God knew that was going to happen. He already has his plan set in stone from that. That was God really hard.
Operates like a bit of a, it's funny, I'll bring a Marvel reference into it.
Okay.
So in the Marvel reference, they have something called the multiverse. And the multiverse has different trees, right? So you're living a life, and then the choice determines a branch.
Right.
Right. I don't think I'm one of the people that thinks that if someone makes that choice that they're somehow separate from God forever.
Yeah.
I don't live in that camp at all. Mainly because I've had friends and family that have had, for lack of a better word, feel like they've had little quick connections that almost like say, I'm okay.
Right.
Right. At the same time, I would say that this life that we have, right, we're sitting in a wonderful home overlooking the lake here in Lake Norman, here in Safe Haven. And, you know, there was a lot of struggle to get to here. I had to go through my own darkness and stuff like that, which I've briefly shared with you a little bit. And it seems to me that if everyone would understand that whatever you're going through, it's actually an opportunity to grow through it, which then takes you to the next level. So for example, I'll give you an example. So again, brand new author, very young author, right?
Right.
Watched you on stage. Everybody's watching like, this is no way this is her first podcast. I've done lots of first podcasts with people, and it's typically, yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's clear to me that you've experienced the journey you've experienced so far, so you can be a bright light and a voice to the voiceless, right? Or hopefully inspire those that need a voice to use their voice. So you talked about, obviously, like and what I'm hearing you say a few times is like, step one is like, you got to connect.
Right.
Right. You know, but then around the connection piece is the scary piece. It's like, who can I trust to not shame me, not guilt me, not tell me I'm not enough, not tell me or somehow otherwise influence that at all. Like, who can see me and hold me accountable in a healthy way, right? Encourage me in a healthy way, show me compassion and empathy where I need it, ask me to step up where I need it, like really kind of hold me accountable. So there's a process in which that has to occur.
Yeah. And also, can I say something really fast?
Of course.
To anyone that is listening, I just want you to know that if there's not someone in your life right now that you feel like you can trust and you can turn to, like, you can turn to me. I'm 20. I'm always on my phone. So if you if you find me on social media, which I'm sure like I'll share at the end or anything, like, I will personally give you my phone number. You can text me. You can call me. You can rely on me, because at the end of the day, like, if you got God and you got one person that's going to give you a little bit of encouragement, like, I promise you, you're going to be okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, no excuses now.
No excuses.
No excuses. I love that. Thank you for that, by the way. That's a major gift, because at times these shows can have pretty substantial reaches. So if your DMs blow up,
that's fine. That's exactly what I want to do. Like, I don't want... Like, I have no, like, greed or bad intent with anything I'm doing. Like, all I want is for no one to feel like I did those nights and no one make the decision that I know people have.
Yeah, yeah, which is one of the ways we fast forwarded you literally 5 years of media appearances and all kinds of stuff to get to a bit of a show that actually has some really good reach. And it's because I believe in you, and I believe in what you're creating, and I believe in your heart to serve. You know, the fact that you just literally said, hey, wait a minute. I understand they need somebody, and I understand they may not have the right person. Y'all, hit me up, you know, kind of thing. I think that's a testimony to you and your heart, right? So there's so much I want to talk to you about. And I know we only have limited time, but one of the things I want to maybe jump into real fast is, you know, all right, so we talked about why you wrote the book. I think one of the things you shared with me is you wrote it really fast.
Yes, I did.
Like, I think it was like a few weeks. I think you wrote an entire book, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yeah, it was February to April.
So we would consider that, you would think that I would consider that divine flow. How about you?
Oh my goodness. That was all God. That was all God. Like, he would stir up these like experiences in my life that I think I had like buried deep down, like not wanting to think about, and be like, hey, write about this, and then tie it to me. Mm-hmm. So it was all God. Like, I was like reliving things I didn't plan on ever reliving, like, like relying on him and remembering Bible verses that I don't even remember ingesting when I read them. Like, I made it a goal to read the Bible like cover to cover before I wrote it. And I was like pulling out Bible verses, and I was like, how did I? And it's like, I did it. Like, I did it. That was all God. Yeah. Like, God did it all. Like, all glory to him. I was a college kid. Like, I was taking exams. Like, I don't know how I pulled any of that off.
That's awesome. Well, you know, so I guess what I'm getting at is like that divine flow piece. When you're super early stage and starting to put yourself out there and put yourself in the public eye, which is what you're doing when you write a book and you decide to start talking about the book and then how you plan to help and serve. I would call it serving at scale. I don't call it fame. I don't call it influencing. I call it serving at scale. Like, either you have a heart of service or you don't, right?
Right.
And ultimately your fruit will show that. What do you hope someone who reads the book gets from the book and does with the book?
So at the end of every chapter, besides the first five, I kind of like describe the mental things I've gone through, like the mental disorders I've been diagnosed with as like storms, like storm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, explain it a little bit. And then after that, there's practical applications at the end of each chapter after I explain something, tie it to God, and then practical applications. And I hope people just have like something to grasp onto in order to like cope with their mental health. Like I hope people just know that these practical applications are just like examples to like completely rely and surrender to God. Because that was the thing for me is I'll have anxiety like probably the rest of my life. I don't think God ever intends to take it away. He's doing too much.
It'll evolve. It'll be lighter than it was before. Yeah.
I mean, we can pray for sure, but I think
I'm being prophetic. So
okay, perfect. Love it. But like knowing that if they surrender that to God and they just like give it to him and rely on him with this, it is so much lighter.
All right, so I'm gonna pause you there for a second because a lot of folks will say, give it to God. How do we actually give it to God?
Great question. So again, I just want to preface by saying I've said multiple times, I don't think there's certain things God doesn't intend to take away. So if he doesn't just like magically cure you of your mental whatever.
I call it struggle.
Yeah, your mental struggle.
I don't even like the word disorder. It makes me feel icky.
Yeah, I don't know because
it's a struggle. It's temporary.
It's a struggle. Yeah,
it might be a year. It might be 6 months.
There'll be ways. There'll be ways. It will get better. It won't always be as deafening as it seems. But with that, like whatever it is, when you surrender completely and just give it to God, he's going to give you ways through it. He's never going to give you a battle that you can't persevere.
I'm going to press you deeper
through.
here.
Perfect.
For fun.
Go ahead.
Okay?
For fun.
How do you surrender? Like when a wave comes, what do you actually do?
Great question. So back in March, I had a rough sophomore year of college. All glory to God though, because he used everything to bring me right here. Like
That's
perfect.
Right.
Like this is so great. Thank you, Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
But there was mornings I would make myself get up at 6 a.m. and go work out with my roommate. And I'd be standing on the treadmill and it'd be the weighted vest, but then it'd be like, I also felt like I got hit by a semi truck. And all I could say was I would walk on the treadmill and I'd just be like, God, help. Like, help. That was all I had. I didn't have anything more than that. I couldn't pray specifically. I knew he knew my heart. I know that me praying is just something for me. He already knows the prayers before I say them. So I just be like, God, help. Like that was it. And sometimes I'll be able to press deeper and be like, God, this is exactly what I need you to help on. This is exactly what I'm feeling. This is exactly what I need you to walk me through. Other times it's literally just like, Lord, help.
It's that simple.
Like just give me what I need to get through today. And then you just got to focus smaller. Because right now I can be like, oh Lord, like help me the next month because I'm in a better place. But in March it was like, God, I need you to take some of this away before I go to bed tonight because I can't carry this all day.
Yeah.
And he would.
Yeah.
The morning would be awful. The afternoon would be okay. And then right before I get bed again, I'd get hit by it. And then I'd get in my bed and I'd start writing. And honestly, that was something I recommend writing to everyone. That was so therapeutic.
I was going to tell you what my surrender process was when you were
That was so therapeutic. I was like writing down and like as I'm trying to help other people, God's healing something in me. And it's like, I need to take my own advice. Like, I need to like do these practical
This says every thought leader that ever graced the stage.
Like, I need to do this. Like, this is kind of good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. So on that point, I'm always interested to know how each and every person carries through surrender or giving it to God. So people that watch the show historically they're either already a person of faith at various levels, could be a variety of denominations or whatever. And there's others that are searching. And there's also a handful that are more here for the practical and strategical tips. So we have the gambit, which is amazing. And one of the things that I discovered, and you've actually alluded to it even just now, which is why it's even popping up. I began a practice October, November of last year. Of going and sitting still and quiet for however long, getting a pen and a pad like this, not on my phone. Like I used my computer a few times, my phone a few times, but mainly I've got journals, field. I said field, y'all is in North Carolina. And what was interesting is I had this experience. I had a good friend of mine who taught me a meditative practice, which I believe is the definition of praying in the Spirit. right? So to me, meditation is praying in the Spirit. I say you pray to say, meditate to hear, or listen to hear. Or anyway, I digress. Not that I'm going to go down that rabbit hole. But I grabbed my journal and I began writing the date of that day. First, this is typically first thing in the morning. And I would write at the top, what I hear you say is. And I would sit in quiet until something appeared. Sometimes it was one word and the next word would form after it. Sometimes it was pages. Sometimes I couldn't stop writing. But every single time I did that, I saw truths in there that battled lies that I was battling.
Right.
Right. I heard promises in there that I was battling. Right. It wasn't based on my performance or my existence. It was based on like what I was hearing. So when you say journal or like essentially writing, journaling, for me, you can journal and you're journaling your thoughts and everything. So it's other times just to sit there and be quiet and just say what I hear you say is.
Right. And another thing is the books, Psalms and Job, are honestly like just open your Bible. Like Psalms and Job. In Psalms, there's plenty of times where like David or like the other authors who like we don't know about are basically like yelling at God and being like, why do I feel like this? Like I'm so like swamped with depression. There's a verse in there that's like, darkness is my closest friend. Like you've taken from me everything. And it's like, you're not alone. One of God's like people that he uses as an example for all of us, like David, like King David was depressed. Like God never promised us we wouldn't be suffering from being a Christian. He promised the opposite. He told us we would suffer here. We're exiles. We're not meant to be here. So as long as like we're like opening our Bible, like reading that, knowing that everyone suffered, Jesus suffered. If Jesus is going to suffer, we're probably going to have to suffer here as well. Like he was perfect. Like he was like, he died on the cross for all of us. Like there is suffering here because it's perfect when we get to heaven with God.
Yeah. You're so awesome.
Thanks.
You're so awesome.
Thanks.
How did you come up with the name of the book?
So my middle name is Storm.
Which is totally Marvel superhero stuff, by the way.
Oh,
I love when your dad tells the story how you got your middle name, by the way. It's kind of funny.
Yes, I love it. It was like, it's always been something I thought was like kind of cool because it's like
it's
unique,
very cool.
like
It's not kind of cool. It's very cool.
Thank you. It's something like I did get like picked on a little bit for it as a kid, and I was like, no, one day you guys are gonna realize it's cool. I promise.
Yeah, eventually they're gonna call me Steven Wolverine Scoggins.
I love that. I'll start calling you that. Like I'll be the first one.
I'll take it. I'll be
the first one. But so a few years ago, I was thinking about writing the book. I was terrified of being judged and failing because I was in high school, so scared, controlled by my fear. And was just chickened out. But at the time, I came up with it. I was like a junior in high school. I came up with the idea for Sanity in the Storm. And it was because I've always viewed my anxiety as like a rainstorm. Like it's like pouring on me and like God's my umbrella. And if I have my umbrella, I'm still going to get wet. Like you're still going to get wet if you're carrying your umbrella. Like you're still going to be anxious. You're still going to have your mental struggles. But it's way more tolerable than getting completely drenched in the rain. So I always viewed it as like a little like rainstorm. And then I always loved the fact that it was my middle name. And it's a way to like honor my family and everything they've given me in like the book and honor myself a bit and honor the middle name like God basically gave me because he told my parents to give it to me. Like, whatever. Like it's not a mistake.
We know for a fact he told your dad. He gave me a whole story behind it.
Right, exactly. So, and then I was like, well, what goes well with storm? Because if I'm going to use this analogy of like your mind being your storm, and then it's like sanity, because when we're in our mental struggles, we feel kind of insane. Like we're told from like society and things that there's something wrong with us. There's not. Like we're just going through something.
Yeah.
But we feel insane. I feel insane when I am like, sometimes when I'm having like my anxiety is like off the chain, I'm like, what is wrong with me? Like I feel crazy. But then it's like through God, I'm able to find sanity in my mental struggles, and I'm able to find sanity in the storm that is my life at times. And there's daily storms. Like you pick up that cross every day and you walk and you carry it and then you go to bed at night.
Yeah.
Like that's like something. So that was kind of it. I liked the S&S, like Sanity and Storm. And I liked the play on mental health with sanity and insanity, and then just kind of honoring my family and myself with storms. So.
Well, I both want to, first of all, it's so cool. Second of all, I want to both challenge you and encourage you right now.
All right, perfect. I love it.
As someone who's walked through multiple seasons of very difficult darkness. I mean, again, there's a cost to every calling, right? So,
Right.
And the greater the calling, the greater the cost. Fortunately, you don't have to do it all at once. It comes in stages, so you have a chance to like rebalance and get situated. But anyway, one of the things that has helped me in when I'm going through something tough. So I went through something fairly like really tough last year, right? My honest doesn't know much about it because it was personal in nature, so I don't share that stuff publicly. As far as like relationship based stuff.
Right.
And I remember going through that, and that same thing 10, 15 years earlier would have caused me to spiral, completely spiral, right? But what I did differently is I leaned in my faith, of course. Did the journaling practice I kind of mentioned to you already. I did a lot more grounding. I walk on the grass. I'll pray. I meditate. I do things. I've discovered that starting my day if I could start my day in presence, no matter how busy or chaotic the day is, at the end of the day, I end my day in presence.
Amen.
Right? So it's all about how you start each and every day, right? So I came up with my own little rhythm, right? But on top of that, I'm constantly reminding myself of storms that I thought were going to take me out that didn't, but actually made me stronger. So when I go through storm M, after going through storm A, B, C, D, E, F, G, I'm like, Stephen, remember when you were brought through F? Remember when you were brought through J? Remember when you were brought through B and E? Do you remember the fruit that came out of that? And the reason I want to share that with you is because as you step out into this new level, this new journey, right, of trying to serve at scale. And I believe that's what you'll be doing. I believe it will start to build momentum slowly as you kind of finish up your college career and kind of get because I know you're studying mental health in college and stuff like that as well. And I wouldn't be surprised by the time you're in your 25, 26 years old if you're not really thriving with this whole genre, right? And the reason I say that is one, I mentioned this on a previous show that God is getting rid of gurus. He's sending guides. In many cases, what I would deem as a guru is someone who has a lot of information. Maybe they're borrowing information, sharing something they didn't experience, or they did live the journey, but they're using it in a selfish capacity, okay? I'm watching God currently raise leaders, speakers, voices, people in the marketplace. Right now, I could name off probably 50 people that I know. And I began saying this like 3 years ago. It was like the greatest voices in the world has never heard yet. Right? And it's no shame or guilt or no shame whatsoever and people that have been doing it for decades, right? A lot of them have done really beautiful things and helped a lot of people. But I think the reason I'm sharing it with you is because you will constantly have to, the Bible also calls it gird yourself up, gird up your loins, I guess they call it, right? Which is like, you can strengthen yourself, but I think you get stronger in presence, right? Rather than force, right? So I say that, I'm ramming a little bit, but I guess I'm trying to get my thought out in that as you proceed forward, watch your words and how you talk to yourself. I personally do not believe in disorders. I believe in struggles, and because struggles are temporary, disorders create a label, right? And I refuse to be a label.
Love that.
Period. Like I've been through a lot. I've some of which of my own doing, some of which of not, right? But if I wear a label, I can't wear a legacy.
That's good.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and to me, the legacy of today is now being created based on what you leave inside of somebody, not behind for somebody, right? And I can see you doing that. But in order to do that well, you're going to have to continue to work with God in the aspect of making sure that as you take these steps and these different waves come, that you can also say, God, I remember when you took me through that. I remember when Vincent passed, and I remember that out of that, you had me on a stage, you had me on a podcast, you had me write a book, you have me now speaking, you have me now putting out my Instagram and my social media out to the world that may or may not work out in your favor right away, kind of thing, you know? And I say that because God will build, and this is where the opportunity comes into play. You're stepping into an opportunity, right? God will build it as long as you want to build it with him. The moment you decide you don't want to build parts of it, he'll pause. He'll just wait. until you're ready to go again, right? So it's a technique that I use to this day. And I feel led to share it with you. So hopefully it lands and sticks.
No, it did. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. That was great.
Well, I want everybody to go check out the book for sure. Standing in the Storm. Let's go. Where can everybody find more about you and the book? And you're going to have to spell it just in case, because I had your name wrong for the longest time. I called you Angelina. I don't know why. I was like, it's Andelina.
Yeah. So right now, the website's like not up or anything. More like, we're starting from the ground up.
All right. So in that case, DM her. We'll send you a link.
Yes.
We'll put the link in her bios as well.
Yes. So my Instagram is Andelina, Andelina.storm. And then the pre-sale link for the book is in my bio, Sanity in the Storm. And then my most recent Instagram post, which will be pinned. So the pinned post
until we give you some of this content.
Is it's the post that talks about the book and everything and part of the process and highlights what Ken did for me and the platform he gave me at Mastermind. So
that's awesome.
Yes.
Well, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show, one. And two, you have amazing things ahead of you.
Thank
and I
you
really
so
want you to
much.
take hold of that. Your wisdom exudes far more than your years. And I really believe you can help a lot of folks, especially in your age category and around it. Yeah, you have a really bright future. I'm excited for you. I really am.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
This means the world.
All right, guys, that's going to wrap up Bill for this episode. One of the things we're going to do real fast, as you know, is we need you to like, share, and comment. Also, one of the things that has actually been happening recently that's been really powerful is this essence of sharing it with a friend. So we ask you to share. If you heard anything in this content that you think a friend, a family member, somebody needs to hear, share the episode. You never know what kind of seeds you can plant, and you can actually leave a legacy yourself inside of them by simply sharing information they need to hear. Until then, we'll see you in the next episode of Build. We can't wait to see you again. Much love. Take care. Peace. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that amazing conversation. And if you want more just like that to help you level up your life and your business, you're not going to miss this next one. Check it out.
None of that would have happened if I couldn't have made it through that single moment when I was 12 years old.
Yeah.
And that's something big to think about. I mean, whatever it is, if somebody's watching that's struggling right now, it's like, listen, it gets better.
Yeah.
There's more on the other side of whatever it is you're dealing with, and you can get through it, and you're loved, and we need you.
That's true. Amen.
Yeah.